after working hard all day. It's nice to see everybody coming here. So first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stand up for the flag salute. Joseph, would you like to put the flag up?
Yes. All right.
Okay, ready? Begin.
I
pledge allegiance
to
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
and justice for all.
Wow.
Thank you, Joseph. And would you like to give the prayer?
Yes. We allow someone else in and then we can pray. Loving God, thank you that we can meet this way tonight. Ask that you would help us learn from one another, help us shop so we can bless our communities and our families. And we do pray for those who are dealing with COVID right now. We ask, Lord, you protect their health, bring them back to health. We ask that you would protect us as well. Lord, we pray for our economy, that you would help us, especially here in California, get things going again and the schools open as well. We ask this in your name. Amen.
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 All right, folks, I got carried away.
And Joseph, did you want
Good stuff.
did you or Craig or you or want to give a real quick Zoom protocol?
Yeah, I don't see Greg on here, so it's me. We're all getting pretty good at Zoom now, but just a reminder, keep muted if you don't have the floor, if you haven't been given permission to speak. And at some point, I mean, as we have some discussions, I know that Tim wants to open it up for discussion. So Tim, would you rather people just unmute themselves and talk or raise their hands? How do you want to do it?
Well, I think the easiest way is if you just kind of raise your hand on the screen and you get the host's attention, because sometimes it's hard to see when you're hosting and you're doing a bunch of other things. It's hard to see the chats and who's putting their hands up. So I'll definitely assist you with who's got their hands up. And we just want to make sure that everybody's heard and they have a chance to speak their voice. And what we want to do is we want to elevate and unite. And this is what we're here for. So thanks everybody for coming. And looks like we got a nice, awesome crowd. And
you know, I wasn't asking you to get into your spiel already. I would just, that was a yes, no question, man. Now, if you're using a tablet or a phone and you need to move around, if you turn your video off while you move, it would keep the rest of us from getting motion sickness. And just be aware of how the camera is. So that's it. Like I say, we're all getting pretty good at this now. Kurt?
Now we're gonna do a self-introduction. When I read your name, if you want to tell us who you are. So first of all, we have Ali. How you doing, Ali?
I'm good. Ali Farizi from Olive Auto Center in Burbank.
Thank you, Ali.
I just finished my quarantine. I got COVID, but I'm okay now.
Next, we have Edward.
Edward Castellanos, store manager at Crown City Tire in Pasadena.
How you doing? Thomas M.
Thomas M. Thomas Amoni, owner of Crown City Tire in Pasadena.
Thank you. Mike. You're muted, Mike.
Mark?
You're still muted, Mike. So we're
Oh, I'm
gonna,
mute. I got it now. I got it. Sorry, I technically challenged here. Mike Lamontia from Michael and Company in San Jose.
thank you. Colleen.
Hi, Colleen Yargard, new owner of Mark's Independent Service in Chatsworth, California.
And right to you, Mark.
Mark from Mark's Independent Service from Chatsworth, I'm a retired owner.
Thank you, Mark. Dave.
Hi, Chapter 5. I'm Dave Kusa, Auto Trend Diagnostics in San Jose, Chapter 42, and be speaking tonight for government affairs and for the foundation ASCEF. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Mr. Jasper. Randy.
Randy Lewis, world famous Jasper engines and transmissions.
Thank you. Mr. Norm.
Thanks. Norm Blyden, I'm a CPA in Arcadia. We deal mainly with businesses. We do a lot of monthly financials, payroll and taxes. We handle anything from startups to my top end clients, probably approaching 500 million a year in sales. Thanks.
Thank you. Valerie.
Hello, Valerie Maimoni with Crown City Tire Auto Care in Pasadena.
Thank you, Valerie. Rory.
Just get the mute off. I'm Rory Palmer, Twin Peaks Auto Service in the Lake Arrowhead area. And I'm your state president.
Thank you, Rory. Craig.
Craig Johnson Automotive. I have a shop in Roland Heights. I also represent you guys, us independent shops on the National Automotive Service Task Force. Been a busy day today. A NASTF board. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim.
Ward from Ward Service Monrovia.
Thank you, Jim. John Bridgewater.
John Bridgewater, Chapter 16, San Leandro, California, operate Durrell's Auto Repair and Wright's Automotive, both in San Leandro.
Thank you very much. Nat. Also muted.
I'm not Nat, but you can call me Nat. It's my daughter's computer. I cannot change the name.
Okay, you're gonna be Nat.
I'm Humpo Economy Auto Center in Azusa, and this is my wife Clara.
Thank you. Felicity, or Felicia, sorry.
Hi, Felicia, General Manager of Michael and Company in San Jose, California.
Thank you very much. Mr. Glenn.
Glenn Davis from GDA Enterprises in Upland, California. Also owner of Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, the best mesquite fired steaks, ribs, and chicken on the planet.
And Glenn's our newest board member, so glad to have you on board, Glenn. And
Thank
Tim.
My name is Tim Shakarian. I'm co-owner of Beamer PhD Motorsports here in Pasadena, along with my beautiful wife, Johanna Reichert, and your chapter representative for Chapter 5. And I'm extremely happy to be here. Thank you, everyone, for putting forth the effort. Looking forward to our session.
You're also vice president, Tim, of our chapter. Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky Comedian, past everything. Owner of Bimmer and Benz Specialist in Costa Mesa. And very glad to be here. Really love Chapter 5, what they have to offer. And thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Miss PCC. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, everybody. Wendy Luco, member since 04, from what I could tell, or before that. Educational member, so instructor at Pasadena City College.
Thank you.
And
Darren.
state board member too.
Yes, right. and California Auto Teacher President. So I don't want to add more because then the stress and the gray starts growing. So we'll just keep it as teacher.
Hey everybody, Darren Gilbert, Gilbert Motor Service in Alhambra, California. Chapter 5 board member. Good to see anyone. Glad you guys are all here tonight.
Thank you very much. Esteban.
How's it going? This is Esteban Gonzalez with Pro Shop Automotive. I belong to Chapter 14, the president from Chapter 14, and can't wait to, always a pleasure to be here with Chapter 5.
Aren't you a state board member too, Esteban?
What happened?
Aren't you a state board member too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And a state board member as well.
Carlos.
Oh, hi. I guess I'm the only Carlos. Carlos with Omega Automotive and Northeast Body Works. We have an auto repair shop and body shop here in Northridge.
Javier.
Hello, Javier with Joe's Garage in Alhambra.
You just moved. I lost you. Johanna.
Johanna Reichert, co-owner of Beamer PhD in Pasadena. And board member. I'm a board member.
Joel Perez.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe with BG Products. I'm the rep for San Fernando Valley and San Gabriel Valley. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much. John R.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. John with Mitchell One. I am a new rep to the area, not new to Mitchell. Basically from the 60, in between the 60 and the 210 from Chino to Glendale. So thanks for having me, guys. And I can second on the Pinnacle Peak, by the way. If you're ever out in that area, you gotta go there.
The other John. Hey, John. Mr. Epstein.
Hello, everybody. This is John Epstein from John's Automotive Care down in San Diego. Past president, state president, last couple of years, and current state board member, also on the Educational Foundation. So it's nice seeing 31 people, 32 people at a chapter meeting. So great job, guys.
Thank you. Mike B. You driving? Mike's usually driving during the meetings. Oh, there he goes. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike from Lex Master Tech in Pasadena. Happy to be here and a board member.
Thank you. Anybody I missed?
No, but I'd like to bring out a few things. Javier is a new member to our chapter. Javier, you just recently also opened your shop, so thanks for having you. And Esteban Gonzalez from chapter 14 is member of the month, I believe, for this month. So great job, and we're happy to see so many shops join in. The progress of all these shops is amazing, and that's kind of what we're here to discuss. Sorry I stole your show there.
No problem. Then we have Joseph, our chapter administrator. He's our glue of our meetings. He keeps our chapter going. Thank you again, Joseph.
I'm the one that can mute everybody.
Yeah, and I'm Kurt from Advance in Pasadena, celebrating our 75th year. Okay, moving on. We have Craig. Would you like to do your NASTF report?
Certainly. As I stated earlier, a National Automotive Service Task Force exists to cross the gap between independent shops needing tooling, service information, or anything we can't get our hands on. That's what NASTF's here for. And NASTF has a seat with everybody in the service industry, from parts, service information, the dealerships, new car dealers, used car dealers, and independent shops, of course. And NASTF recently redid its website, and everybody should join, and its membership is free. And one of the most compelling reasons to join right now is because of a new program we're implementing with the Secure Data Release Model, or the SDRM, which is for locksmiths. And it has to do with second party flashing or authentication. So what it's about is, in the past, you needed vehicle security credentials, or VSCs, to do any kind of security work, programming, updating modules. Many manufacturers require this security credentials moving forward. We also realize there's third-party vendors that offer remote programming, Opus being one of them, where they log on. If you have their device, they log on, and they log onto the car and update modules. And again, many manufacturers require vehicle security credentials. So in the past, if they logged on and you needed those, your shop had to have vehicle security credentials. So now moving forward, you don't. Opus is one of three companies that's been approved, and they take over the responsibility for the vehicle security credentials. So as long as you have their device, and there's going to be other manufacturers approved in the future, what happens is they log on and they take care of submitting what's called the D1 form through NASTF. That's authentication credentials. The shop still has to get written permission from the customer and ID and some formalities, but they don't have to have vehicle security credentials. So Opus logs on, asks you to do a certain amount of things, get your credentials in order with the customer. The shop does have to be pre-approved for this. So it's very important that now you and all your techs go on to NASTF.org and sign up and get pre-approved. if by chance you're not pre-approved, the process takes about a half hour, which is not a huge delay, but again, I'd recommend just getting those. So Opus, like they have Drive Pro, and some of their other tooling, will go on, update the modules, take care of all the security credentials. I just want to emphasize that this is for updating modules and replacing certain modules, but it's not for key codes. It's not for any security related devices in the car. If you replace, the car can be stolen, like a module on a Ford or I'm unfamiliar with Mercedes and BMW, what their device is now called under the dash, but those devices, you still need your own vehicle security credential. So NASTF is just trying to move forward and realize that, we all can't have vehicle security credentials, and there's people that now offer it. So in summary, go on nastf.org, get a free account, very easy to do, get pre-approved. And if you have some of those devices or an Opus device, Drive Pro, you're shoot in. And then if you have any questions, feel free to call me offline. Joseph has a slideshow that I don't want to show up due to time because I'm very interested in our upcoming guests. But Joseph, would you mind sending those out to everybody on the call tonight? It kind of summarizes what I spoke about with the second party identification.
I do not have everybody's emails, so if you're not a Chapter 5 member and you'd like this, just put your email in the chat if I can get it out to you. And also, John Bridgewater put a Facebook link that's a NASTF page. Craig, you might want to, any of you want to follow that too.
Okay, thank you. But I just want to emphasize that moving forward, NASTF is going to be very important to our shops. NASTF now handles the security information request or through the diagnostic network. And so the free membership in NASTF gets you on the diagnostic network to get notified if there's any problems with any of the websites that are down. So you want to check that first before going on a manufacturer's website and running into a problem, finding out that the manufacturer website is already down. So does anybody have any quick questions?
I actually was able to benefit from this because we had a glitch in our system. We were not able to program using BMW's network, and we actually talked to Opus. Opus, using our auto logic, connected to the vehicle with the correct battery charger on it, was able to program from their end of it using their ISTA through our auto logic, and was able to get the programming we needed. Had we not been able to get that, we would not have been able to get that car out. And in a shop where one more car matters, it's a huge help. So I challenge everybody that's on this call, if you haven't gone to the NASTF website, it's super easy. Go log in, and if you automate all of your information, a lot of that will load up there. This is going to be critical if you want to do any kind of programming or communication, and all these modules are going to be really encrypted going into the future. So we get a lot of helpful information, and please go to resources on the left-hand side. I could spend a day on resources. It's very, very helpful for those of you that are technical. If not, get your shop foreman or somebody in your shop that's technical. I want to see everybody take advantage of the benefits of ASCCA. So if you're not using that NASTF website, you're missing out. Go check it out.
By the way, Tim, AutoLogic and Opus is a partner to ASCCA. So you're more than likely going to be treated differently or better, maybe.
Yes, and also I want to add that there's a $45 fee that Opus charges when you get pre-approved. They're going to ask you for a credit card, and when you go do the first transaction, they're going to hit your card for $45, but Opus is going to credit that. They have the power to credit that. And I believe it's once you do 5 flashes with Opus, it's going to be no charge to log on to NASTF from there on for those of you that have high volume shops that are doing a lot of updating. But man, I can see not having a tech in front of a computer for 2 hours trying to figure out why something doesn't work. It's just going to be a huge benefit. So please take advantage of that, like Tim said. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have government affairs report. Dave, were you going to give that?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks, Kirk. So one of the hats I wear with ASCCA is I have the honor of serving as the chair of Government Affairs Committee. We did have our last meeting at Team Weekend. Jack Molodanoff is our lobbyist in Sacramento who represents ASCCA as well as a few other automotive associations. So we do have, a power of numbers behind us with Jack Molodanoff. So early in the legislative session, there's a lot of bills are still being introduced. Two that I would like to discuss right now. One that hasn't been introduced yet, but will most certainly be. We have been working with Evan Lowe, who fortunately is the assembly member in my district, my shop district, and he is the chair of the Business and Professions Committee, which oversees the Department of Consumer Affairs, which oversees BAR. So good guy for us to know. So not getting too much detail, we had a few issues here in the Bay Area with some shops, and Channel 7 News has a consumer protection reporter who just really doesn't like auto repair for some reason and has made a lot of hay over this. And at the last one that happened, Evan Lowe got a microphone stuck in his face, and the reporter said, "Hey, we need to do something about this. And hey, what do you think about like a rating system like restaurants have?" And Evan said, "Yeah, we could look into that." So unfortunately, we have to look into that. So we've been working with his office to prevent that, because really not what we want, and certainly not a tenable situation for auto repair. We just don't have standards that somebody can come in and measure. Right. Last thing we need is another Yelp type thing through the BAR to rate us. So good news is Evan sees the issues with that. The BAR has created a Find a Shop online, and the information on the Find a Shop is going to be more concentrated in one place. So shops that are on probation or suspension, that kind of thing, will show up on the Find a Shop, which it's not new information, right? All this information is public information. It just was in different places on the BAR website. So now it's all in one place. So we, as ASCCA has a seat on the Bureau of Automotive Repair Advisory Group, the BAG group, or BAG meetings, BAG meeting. So we just had that last Thursday, which I am there and Jack Molodanoff is there. A previous meeting, Evan actually was on the meeting, which is unprecedented. We've never had a legislative member be on our BAG meeting. So he was pretty impressed with the progress BAR made, thinks that this might be a really good solution to move into legislation to prevent any onerous type of rating system that we may have to put up with. We were also able to get information into the or legislation into the bill to streamline the process when a shop is doing something illegal, right? A bad player that we would not want in our industry. At this point, it takes like 3 years between Bureau of Automotive Repair and the state to Attorney General to move through the process to close a shop. Somebody that has broken the law, fraud or stealing or something like that. We should be able to streamline that process if we get this legislation passed. So, which is good for us because, honest, ethical shops, we don't want bad guys hanging around giving us a bad reputation. And if you are accused of something, you want to get it solved, right? You don't want to wait 3 years to show that you didn't do anything wrong. You want this to move quickly. So, we're happy to see that happen. So, going forward, you may see some information come through Team Talk or through your chapter websites or chapter emails asking for some support. So please pay attention to that and give us the support we need it. The second one I'd like to touch on, forgive me, I don't remember the bill number. It's an assembly bill, but there is another tow bill which is sponsored by the insurance company, surprise, surprise, and they want to regulate towing and storage. And unfortunately, we've gotten wrapped up into it because sometimes we do need to charge for storage. It's going to create another board, which there are now 39 boards and bureaus in the Department of Consumer Affairs. So this would be number 40. And as a auto repair shops, we would be required to register with this board. and we don't want that, right? We already work with the BAR. The BAR does a great job of regulating us. So we're kind of saying, hey, you know, what about us, right? Leave us out of this, right? You can talk to anybody. My wife just told me it's AB 516. So keep an eye open, right? This is something, unless Jack's working closely with the bill's author. If the bill's author might say, "Oh yeah, you're right. Don't worry about it. We're gonna change the legislation," which we hope for. If not, then this will be one of those things where we're going to say, "Hey, please contact your state assembly member, your state senator, let them know what's going on, let them know we oppose it, and here's why." So I would ask that when those requests come through Team Talk or GovCom or through your chapter emails, please do it. Single voices matter. It's amazing how effective one voice can be, especially if you have a relationship with your local legislative member. One of the advantages of in-person Ledge Day when we were able to do them, and hopefully either late this year or hopefully next year, in 2022, we'll be able to have our Ledge Day again. The advantage of meeting face-to-face with legislative members and their staff, right, is they don't even know our problems. They don't know what we face because they have no clue what goes on. And Dennis Montalbano says it best, right? If we don't tell our story, somebody else will. So when the information comes out from GovCom to tell your story, please do it. That's all I have right now. Stay tuned, right? There's going to be a lot more stuff as this legislation is introduced. They've got to like the middle of February to get the bills introduced into the process. So we'll have more to talk about as the year goes on.
Thank you very much. And now we're turning it over to Mr. Tim. How you doing, Tim?
Doing well. David, thank you very much. That's super helpful. And honestly, this is what being an ASCCA member is. And a part of our dues really goes to helping support this. Joseph.
Did you want him to say anything about ASCEF?
Yeah, I was going to smoothly try to work my way into that.
Forget smoothness. I've got the website I can pull up if you'd like.
Yeah,
for cars.
I've got a PowerPoint, Joseph.
Oh well, let me see if I can.
Can I steal the screen? I got screen share.
Do you have it?
Yeah. You gotta let me do it.
You have to make him a co-host.
Gotcha. I was gonna say if you did it, I'm surprised.
Somebody's looking to be admitted since you just made me a co-host. You want me to let him in?
I get it. You go ahead and do your thing.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get to the beginning here. Come on. There we go. Okay. So let me get rid of some faces here so that I can see what's going on. There we go. Okay. So another hat I get to wear, and I have the honor of serving as the president of the ASCEF, the Automotive Service Council's Education Foundation. John Epstein is the current board chair, and we have a lot of great trustees that we work with. So our tagline, building careers one car at a time. So what do we do, right? We add value to your shop and the community because you can help your customers get rid of these unwanted vehicles. We can provide free and timely pickup for these cars so that your customer can get that vehicle taken care of, get tax deductible donations, and all of that tax deductible money goes into our scholarship program to build scholarships for aftermarket industry students that want to get into auto repair and service but may not be able to afford the training. We know the problem, right? We have a lack of young people coming into our industry. Our technicians, every year the average age gets older. Now that we have people like Esteban and Colleen as shop owners, I think maybe our average shop owner age has come down, but maybe just a little bit. So we need to create our own technicians, right? We need to build them, and this is a way to do it. So what type of vehicles can ASCEF accept? So any car or light truck is available for donation. What types of vehicles can't we accept? Maybe RVs, boats, motorcycles, large trucks. Sometimes they can be, sometimes they can't. Depends on the condition, where it is, There may be a little bit of a few extra steps to try and donate something on this list, and they might say no, right? Depending, because the donation company has to make their money as well as they process the donation. So this would be where you would have to call in, say, hey, here's what we have, here's what we need to do, and see how it plays from there. So in the past few years, I've heard some concerns about the donation process, and one of them is my customer thinks that I'm trying to steal their vehicle. So I have probably donated 24 vehicles through my shop over the years. I know others have. I know John has, Rory has. Never has anybody accused me of trying to do something wrong. They've always been very, very thankful. And you have to present it correctly, right? These are going to be vehicles where the engine is blown, transmission is bad, right? And it's just more money than the person wants to put into the vehicle. Usually they just are like, what am I going to do with this car now? They don't know. So ask the question. You're not going to fix it. What's going to happen, right? Maybe they can trade it in. Maybe they want to send it to a junkyard, but offer the opportunity for donation through the shop. And they are relieved. They are so thankful that we offer this opportunity. Another concern has been it takes too long to get the car picked up. Unfortunately, historically, that's been a problem in some parts of the state. We have got the cars people to revamp the pickup process. They now work with one company throughout the state. So, a day or two on the outside seems to be what's happening right now. So it looks like, this we forgot about you type thing, or, asking you to jump through hoops is behind us. So I think we can remove that concern from our list. And the last one, talking to the phone agent takes too long. And yeah, there is some time investment, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe. We are unique in how we do things, having the car at our shop rather than the vehicle owner having the car at their home. So it takes a little patience and a little helping the phone agent understand what we're doing. Once you get there, they're fine. So what are the benefits to you and your customer? Easy, painless way to get rid of a car, right? I mean, they don't have to try and tow it anywhere. They don't have to call a tow truck. It happens through us, through the shop. It supports our industry, right? We're going to train new technicians. We're going to get people to come into our industry and people we can employ so that we are able to keep our shops going. So we're not having to tell people we can't do the work because we don't have enough people. And I don't know about you, but I've got a car or two behind the building that over the years, it's like, I'm getting rid of this thing. Lien sailed it and donated it, and away it went. So you can get rid of those so-called stored vehicles that have been maybe sitting behind your shop for a few years that the owner disappeared. And of course, the customer gets a tax benefit. So that's their benefit in addition to getting rid of the vehicle. So here, how it works: timely pickup. The ASCEF takes care of all the documents, coordinates the sale. They send all the tax deductible information, documentation to everybody that needs it, the vehicle owner. They'll provide a simple way to donate the car, get the satisfaction. You get the satisfaction knowing you're going to help a student pursue his or her career goals, and you're going to add value to your shop, right? This is a great customer service type of feature that we can add and build the relationship and help our clients and customers love us and stay in contact with us. And then, like I said, they get the documentation and get rid of that vehicle that they don't want or need anymore. So how do I do it? You're going to need the vehicle's pink slip, right? So first question when you get there is, oh yeah, that's great, Dave. I'd love to donate the vehicle. Okay, I need the pink slip, right? If they don't have the pink slip, there is a solution, but this is the time when you're going to say, okay, please tow your vehicle to your house and you call the 800 number because you can't really do this. The vehicle owner has to do this if they don't have the pink slip. And it has to be lien free. You need the VIN code, you need license plate number and the mileage, and you should have all of that. Customer contact information, name, address, email address. Don't tell them the customer's phone number. They don't need it. And then you call the 800 number, that number right there. I'll send this slideshow to Joseph tomorrow, so he can get it to anybody that needs it. And or ASC-EF.org is the website, and the phone number is right there. So when you talk to the phone agent, let them know you're a repair shop. You are not the vehicle owner, right? You're representing the vehicle owner. You have all the paperwork and the car's at your shop. That's important. Agents can ask a series of questions about the car, the title, and the vehicle owner. So have all that information ready. And then you want to give your shop phone number, because they're going to want to contact somebody for pickup. You don't want them calling the customer, because the customer doesn't know what to do. So give them your phone number when they ask for a phone number, so that when the tow company is calling for pickup, they'll call you. They'll probably ask if there's any fees due. If the customer owes money, because they're used to dealing with body shops. Typically the answer is no, right? I mean, we don't want to take money away from the foundation. So say no, and that yes, the vehicle's accessible. They're going to ask if it has air in the tires, so on and so forth, right? Make sure it's accessible and towable. And then sit back and wait for the tow company to call, and they'll call you in a day or two. So most important parts of this whole process, typically attached to the title is the release of liability. Super important that gets filled out. If it's not there, if they don't have it, they can go online and fill out a release of liability on the DMV website. This becomes important because sometimes these vehicles will end up back on the road, and last thing we want is our customer getting a call 3 years from now from DMV telling them they got $12,000 due in past parking tickets. So really important, the release of liability gets filled out. You want to use charitable adult rides as the buyer, and then our Sacramento office with AMG, our partners in Sacramento, is the address we use. And then make sure they get all their personal belongings from the car, especially anything with personal information, including registration, anything they want to keep. And then anything, old invoices from your shop, the bank information, whatever, right? They need all that out of there. And then a good point came up when I was presenting to Rory's group, his Rotary group, that if this is a newer car and it has a nav unit in it, where you can load information, have them clear that personal information out of their nav unit. So here's the title. So if there's only one name listed, or there's two names with or between the names, then only one owner needs to date and sign on line 1A, which is right in the middle there. If there are two names and it says and between the names, then both need to sign on 1A and 1B. Really important of the or and. And then down lower right hand corner, there's line 2 with an X on it. Don't sign that part. If that inadvertently gets signed, it's a whole process that is just a pain in the butt. So make sure they sign it in the right places, put the mileage in, that kind of thing. And if there's a lien holder, there would be a lien name in the lower left corner. That line 2 area is where they would sign off on that lien. So if there is a lien holder there, make sure it's signed off. Typically, there's not one there. Usually, once the lien is once the vehicle's paid for and the dealer doesn't hold the lien anymore, there's a new pink slip is issued that has no lien holder on it. And that's really it. Super easy. If you run into an issue where this becomes a problem, it's hard to deal with somebody, call me, call John Epstein, and we can, John's in San Diego. The Cars people are in San Diego. He talks to them all the time. I have their contact information, so either one of us, preferably John, but either one of us are able to take care of getting that going. Let me stop sharing. So I really appreciate everybody's time. This really is a good program. We were able to issue 37 scholarships last year. We want to do more this year. We have created a scholarship in memory of Dick DeLoach, who passed away earlier in the year. We have a brand new John's Automotive in honor of John Epstein scholarship. Malin Newton has the scholarship he's working on with ESI. So we have other scholarships we're trying to fund. So the more cars we get donated, the more we can fund these scholarships and get more scholarships out there. So it's a great process. If you're interested in the Board of Trustees, let me or John know. You don't have to be a shop owner. So if you're one of our partners and you have a passion for growing the industry and working on a foundation, let us know. We'd gladly have you join it as a trustee or an advisor. We're always looking for good, motivated people to help spread the load of the work. Any questions anybody has?
Yeah, Dave, Glenn. I created Cars for Careers.
Yep, I was going to say, thank you to Glenn for creating this program. Yeah.
Yeah, about 11 years ago, we only had about 8 named scholarships in the foundation at that time. And I felt there was, other than doing raffles and selling cookies and things to raise money, vehicle donation within ASCCA was a natural progression. And seeing it go from 8 scholarships to 37 just shows you how valuable this system is. And I would suggest, if you have customers that have broken down cars and they want to donate them to the foundation, if it doesn't require a lot of fixing, a lot of people just dump cars because they don't want them anymore. And you know, for a couple $100, if you get that car running and drivable, it may be worth significantly more money to the foundation than if it's towed in and it doesn't run. So there's a point where you can also contribute even more than what the actual car value is if you actually fix it a little bit and get it to be roadworthy.
Good point. Thanks, Glenn. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate that.
Thanks for your time, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Good job, Dave.
Thanks.
All right, so moving on. As far as the chapter reps report, we had an excellent team weekend. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and get to just 2 points of it. The state is moving forward with 2021 strategic planning, and we've hired a company called KP Public Affairs. They're going to help us with our marketing. And what we're really trying to accomplish as a goal is to expand our membership. Not only do we want to grow 10%, but we also want to retain our members so we can everybody that's here at this meeting can see and know the benefits of being an ASCCA member. Other than the encouragement and the information that we receive, today we're actually going to hear from 2 shop owners and their managers that have successfully taken these tips that we've learned through business training, their coaches, being at the meetings, and see how they've effectively applied this in their shops. What we're looking to do is we want to use this effective form of communication to share what the owner's vision is. A lot of us owners have ideas of how we want to do things, and our first thought is, why didn't that guy read my mind? Did he know this is what I want done? And the simple answer is no. Unless we actually put it down as to 5 easy steps, how can the team and the crew follow along with that? The 5 key points we want to expand on when we're talking about our communication is what is the task at hand, how, specific information and standards as to how we can execute that, who is going to follow through with the responsibility of doing that, 5, when, short time-based goals. That way we can achieve our deadlines and what we're trying to accomplish. And lastly, why? What is the reason? Bringing in ethics, logic. This way we reason with our staff and we reason with our crew as to carrying on the vision of what the owner wants. So before we have that, we have to implement change. A couple of months ago, Mikey B from BG taught us about moving the couch. So how many of us took those points that we learned and moved the couch or did something with that information? So using those 5 keys, we can be successful at having effective communication. So today I'd like to welcome Mark and Colleen from Mark's Volvo. And I'd also like to welcome Thomas and Valerie. And Moni. Say your last name, Thomas. From Crown City Tire Auto Care. 2 shops that are not new, but have had some different changes that's going on in their businesses that have implemented change and what the results that they've seen. So, Mark, would you like to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about what you have done in your shop? For those of you that don't know Mark, Mark has a shop in Chatsworth. He's got a 2-tech shop. He's had 1 advisor, and he's refined a lot of the processes that he's learned from having a competent manager, thus Colleen. whose has led to buying and owning the shop. So, Mark, we'd like to hear a little bit from you. What made you implement some change in your shop? What did you see or hear from these meetings that made you go, you know what, I need to do that?
Well, okay, number one is that Brian needed, well, it helped me, a coach helped me a lot too, that he could tell the pressure I was in all the time and what was going on. Tim, running, doing the front, helping the guys, it's a lot of pressure, and you start shorting everything, and it does affect your health after a while. And I've been through, quite a few service riders, and it just didn't work. And then Malin and they offered Malin and Ray when they were together. Colleen was around it, and they sent me over to her and to talk to her, and I decided to work on her to check her out. And she came into me, and she worked for 2 days, and I hired her, not even knowing it. She just got hired for probably the first couple of hours, because she really, for a young lady, she was on it. She worked up north for a guy for 4 years.
I worked for Ryan for 3.5. But you can be honest. In our interview, you didn't like me.
Okay, I didn't like it. There was a few points on there.
But and I'm sorry that I'm better at speaking than Mark is, and that's why he kind of looks at me. So, our interview didn't go so great. Mark hired me, and I did prove myself. Thank sweet Jesus, I got Toyotas versus Volvos. But that was what kind of sold me in the business. And Mark was like, all right, I guess she's kind of capable, and we'll run with that. And that's kind of where we started. But Mark, working for Mark he's iron and fist. I'm not going to lie. He's iron and fist. It is. A lot of
us are.
Yeah. And that's fine. You want your shop run a certain way. And I think what really meshed with Mark and I is the fact that I'm the same way. I really like my shop very tight ran, policies and procedures. And, when I step foot in shop, you have to understand that Mark had a technician that was with him for 16 years and had another technician that was with him for 14. So policies and procedures were pretty much ingrained in their brain. But being a newcomer coming in, I didn't understand anything. And, old school mentality is if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, when I stepped into shop, there was a lot of broken things that Mark just didn't see. And it's not wrong, right, or indifferent. It's just very different than what I was used to. And it took me a while to get him to realize, like, hey, these things don't add up. And that's when him and I both got together and was like, he accepted me and accepted what I had seen and what needed to be fixed. And he was like, all right, how do we fix it? And that's how him and I got together to figure out a plan to make things different.
That was awesome, because I was going to ask, how did you onboard your staff to the new changes? Because that's a lot of the shop owners think, oh, how do I do this? How do I go about this? What if my guys don't like this? So Mark and Colleen, what did you do to onboard the new changes?
It was tough. It was really tough. And the one who worked for me for 16 years did not work for me after that. There was a lot of backstabbing, actually lying. And I don't know if there was so much stealing, but there was a lot of lying, which I caught him on. And he really didn't like Colleen at all.
No, I came into shop and I'm sorry, if anyone has ever been through service writer school, or if anyone just doesn't understand cars and has had a lot of training on what to do behind a counter and how to manage your shop and just really took that to heart, you get efficiency at a bare minimum. You take out the compassion for your technicians and you understand there is a day-to-day job. Everyone makes money if you make money. So when I stepped in, I was like, hey, Mark, by the way, this technician that's been feeding me the wrong parts all day, he knows what's wrong with the car in 5 minutes, but he likes to milk his time for an hour and a half. So you pay him more. And he didn't understand that. And I was like, well, I learned in service writer school, if you put a time clock or a timer on their toolbox, One, it's really going to piss them off, but it's going to make you realize how much time they actually spend on the car. So I did. Both of my technicians, which we had a really stellar bolt-on tech. He did everything in 5 minutes. And I'm not kidding when I say a 6-hour job was done in 5 minutes. That was true. But you had your diagnostic technician who would know what the problem was in 5 minutes and would take 2.5 hours because he wanted to milk the time. So put a timer on their desk and all of a sudden there's pressure on them. They actually have to work, which heaven forbid. But it also makes you realize how much time they're really spending on a job. And I know Mark thought that I was completely nuts when I was like, I want time clocks. And he did have timers in my desk drawer. And I was like, can we replace the batteries in these and put them on their toolbox, which did work. So as soon as I did that, instantly this guy hated me. And I'm sorry, I started this industry when I was 19. I am so used to technicians just hating me. So I kind of fed on it. I was like, all right, I finally pissed you off enough to work. And I continued to push him. And I think it did take a while. It took probably 6 to 8 months for Mark to realize, oh, maybe she's right. Because you get stuck in the rut of you've had these guys for so long and you don't want to create animosity, and your shop has worked for so long the way that it does, but that doesn't mean that it's right. So it really was me finally opening Mark's eyes and him and I working together to create a policy and procedure on how things are done. Because when I walked into the shop, we didn't have that. And that was weird to me because I'm so used to working from a book because I don't know, anything about cars. I really don't still, by the way. So it took a while, but at the end of the day, it worked. And it took a lot of, owning up to it and saying, all right, let's put the pressure on. And it's not about being a jerk. It's just about, at the end of the day, if you make money, they make money. So if everyone wants to start making money, let's all work together. And if you don't, that's cool. There's a door.
Well, the other thing is too that, Tim, you're kind of like me. I can't sit in the office and do paperwork all day. I got projects. I'm working on cars. That's me. I'm happy when I'm doing that. That's why I have her. And I really didn't, when she saw these things happening, I really didn't look at them. The numbers look okay to me. We were paying the bills. We had money in the bank. Everything seemed fine. But then when she pointed out things that way, the back doorway, it really, that's when she started polishing pieces and people had to start working. This is how you do it. This is why we're going to do it. It just didn't, it did start working really well that way.
It's funny, that's what John just said in the chat comment. He said that it works really well when the team starts working together. Joseph, if you don't mind putting up the key box procedure for those of you, I struggled with this in my shop, and one of the challenges was getting the staff to do what I needed them to do. And it wasn't until we had a meltdown in the shop, mainly me had a meltdown, that one of my staff said, dude, here, let's figure out how we can avoid this. And it was really, really simple. If you notice, it's Microsoft Word. Those of us that know how to use a computer, Microsoft Word, can easily bring that up. And we broke it down to simple steps as to what would you want us to do if you weren't here, right, Colleen? You were talking about processes and procedures.
They're so important in a shop, so important.
And something as simple as this, where do the keys go? So Joseph, if you don't mind scrolling down just a little bit, here we're talking about a key box that we would normally look at. So if you scroll up just a tiny bit, we can see here how we have identified first row, where the cars go, second row, why they are, what their pending authorization, 3 row of cars is parked at the church. We use the church across the street as a lot. So over there we have wash and ready for cars. 4th row, the cars that are ready for pickup that are on the street. So these are all thoughts that we as a team sat down and said, what is best practice? If you keep scrolling down here, we can see how we give an illustration of what the key box looks like. And if we keep scrolling down,
no, you didn't know.
Here we have a layout of the do's and the don'ts. As we scroll down, we can see what we don't want to see in the shop. Why? How many guys know where the car is if we're looking at a key box like that? Versus if we keep scrolling down, here we have key points. All keys must have service tags so that they are clear and easy to read. This way it's all identified.
Which, and I'll add to that, Tim. So, you know, when I was told about policies and procedures, it really wasn't until I started working with Mark. I have worked at a shop before. So policies and procedures, basically, it wants everyone in your shop, no matter who they are or what they do, to walk into your shop and run your job in a very novice term.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, teaching a service advisor to do brakes. It's teaching a technician to run a computer. It's teaching a third party, like if my, and I'll just use this as an example because it's just me right now running my business. Yes, I have the ability to use Mark, but I try not to because the guy's retired. He wants to party or do whatever the heck he does. So if my mom wanted to step in shop and she had to run my job because something happened to me that day, she can pick up a piece of paper and she knows exactly how we do our job every single day. And all of my guys have access to that on their tablets. I have a very, very basic policies and procedure list. Tim's is more intricate, which if that's what you want to do, that's your jam. But if you know Tim, he's more intricate than I am. I have a super basic A, B, C, and D, and that's really how it's supposed to be. It's anybody in your shop can pick up your policies and procedures and do the job that has to be done. Whether they are a tech, an advisor, an owner, my mom, my boyfriend, whoever the heck has to step in and do my job for that day can do it.
Thank you, Colleen. So now I'd like to bring in Thomas and Valerie. Thomas and Valerie recently bought Crown City Tires. Now you guys didn't come from the repair side of things, right? Thomas, tell me a little bit about you and your family and how you got started in the automotive repair side of things.
Great. Can you hear me okay? First of all? Perfect. Awesome. So also beyond Valerie being on the call, we also have Edward on the call. He's my store manager. So if you have any good questions for him, feel free on that, okay? So we started off actually on the collision side. So I'm a huge collision background. Started off when I was young, 15 years old, working on cars. But we, through consolidation, going back a little bit, we grew our collision side of our business, our county business, to an MSO. We had around 7 locations. Well, we sold those in 2014 to Service King through consolidation. Great time for parents to retire. But of course, I can't retire off of that. So I worked for Service King for a number of years, realizing, of course, that I'm not a corporate guy and entrepreneurship is where I belong. So we decide, hey, let's go back into the open a shop up. So naturally we'll think, hey, let's go into collision. But we had a friend who opened up a auto repair store, and he said, hey, take a look at this. There's a lot of opportunity here. And I'm big about doing research. And more so, beyond the research of what opportunity I saw in auto repair versus collision, I see the opportunity in the sense of what the market needs, what consumers really want in auto repair that is, I feel, more of a vacuum than we have on the collision side. So I saw a large opportunity in auto repair, then collision, and I say, you know what, this is a great way we can build up the next MSO and take this on. So we looked for a reputable shop, and of course, knocking on doors and asking owners, hey, you want to start your company? It was kind of an awkward moment, but luckily we got some right timing with Mark Barada, our owner of Crown City Tire, and we acquired them in 2019. Yeah. So so we've been almost 2 years here now, and definitely a lot of change, a lot of learning experiences, and I can answer any kind of questions beyond that for you, Tim, to help you out. Oh, can't hear you there.
Tell me about your partner and your service advisor. How do they fit into the business that you're doing in your day-to-day operation? Because I know you work with your wife just like I do. Yeah, so
Truly, my wife is really the backbone of the company. I'm just saying that. She's the one that, if I would have listened to her a long time ago, we probably would have been a lot better off we are today. But she's amazing. But we work as a great team, and we have our boundaries and how we work and what we're good at. And we feed off each other in that sense. So I would say that Valerie has no knowledge in auto repair, anything like that. Brings in that kind of different perspective on seeing things that I won't see, as where I'm trying to figure out a vehicle so I can have the understanding and taking care of our customers on the technology side, the repair side. She was able to see a lot of holes that we had in the shop. And of course, we had a lot of those discussions like, we got to do that change, Thomas. We got to do that change. And I'm like, no, leave him alone. He's fine. Or leave that alone. It's fine. But we get to that point where we kind of come out of working in the business and working on the business. And that's the biggest takeaway. I know that, like Colleen, we're kind of millennials. We're really not. I don't believe in millennials too much, but I gotta say, we're very much like any other owner in this call, where we work countless hours. We don't take paychecks home sometimes because we're trying to get by. We've also realized we're working in the business too much and we get in our own way.
We're hybrids, Thomas. That's the best way that I can describe us. We are hybrids.
And, so we had to go through those changes just like everyone else in this call probably has in their experiences. And it all comes from the owner themselves. And to where we're at today, I'm very, very proud to where we're at today on just really stepping out of our own way and working on the company itself and going to the expectations, the SOPs.
Yeah, and going back to what Colleen said too, I mean, organization and communication is so important, because when I walked in, the system they had to me made, because the way I run it like a business. So everything has to be organized. Everyone has to communicate. So when I walked in, there was no communication. No one was even speaking to each other. And all they did was they wrote a ticket and they put it on a board and they would just pick up the ticket and do the next car. And I said, well, when is the car promised by? Has the guest been informed? And their response was, well, we've been doing it this way for 20 years. And my response was, it doesn't mean it's the most productive way then. Just because you've been doing it for 20 years doesn't mean it's the most productive way. And there was just no communication. So going back to, again, implementing those SOPs, having communication, and we had a meeting about it. And we did have to, there were a few times where I did call a few technicians in my office and say, the boat's moving. You're either on the boat or you're off the boat and you're gonna drown. And we'll
Amen
let you
to
drown.
that, Valerie. Amen to that.
Yeah, you had to just rip off the Band-Aid and nip it in the butt right away.
You know what? First day, guys, our sales, it was crazy. It was like I can't believe how busy we are. And we made $800. Mm-hmm. And that's how busy we were to make $800. Again, coming back to SOPs and procedures, it was chaos, absolute chaos. So
I'll ask you guys, what was the one change that you guys did in your shop that made you go, wow, that was awesome?
I think Mark is probably the better one to answer that, because to be honest, not to toot my own horn, but I really think it was me, because I was the one that came in and opened everyone's eyes to say, hey, this doesn't really work. And you have to understand, by the time that I walked in Mark's shop, I only had experience in one other shop, and I wrote service for 5 technicians. My job was insane, to say the least. But walking into Mark's shop was kind of a breath of fresh air, but you also see, outsider perspective, just like Valerie. I don't know cars. I don't understand, even now, being a.
Oh, you're on mute, Colleen.
Sorry. Even now, like, I don't understand cars. I understand how to make things work. My technicians, their job is to understand how to make the cars work. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that the shop runs well, that my customers are happy, and that my technicians are happy in the same aspect. Yeah, sometimes I can be a jerk, but that's my job. So, they don't love me, they don't hate me, but we all work copacetically. So, I mean, I really think the biggest change in our shop was me and opening eyes to everything that was going on. And once I did that, then Mark and I could work together to make it happen.
Ed, can I ask you a question since you're running the shop as a manager, right? For Crown City. Let's hear a little bit from you as to how you saw it coming in. What was the biggest change that you thought, yeah, that worked? Because that's what we want to all share and see and take back with us.
Well, I feel like the employee buy-in is really the huge factor. I could come up with a million different ideas and set quote unquote my expectation, but without the team's buy-in, I'm not going to get any results. So my first step, walking in the business, of course, observing the flow, the rhythm that had already been set in place, working within those areas and making modifications and making the improvements necessary to run the business successfully. I feel like it came down to earning the respect of my coworkers, but also giving them the why factor. I have my own ideas. I present my ideas, why I have this idea, why it's important, and the buy-in is really what drives the results.
I would 100% agree with that, by the way.
And to add that too, when Edward came in too, he sat each of them down and talked with each employee, but he went over the company goals. He went over their goals too, but he also went over their job goals, which I think was really phenomenal because he ensued the why on it, but he let them know like their goals too and why we need to achieve them.
Expectations in writing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started developing, I did it through a management course I took a few years back. I implemented at here with us at Crown City an employee quote unquote interview. And I run these interviews about every 3 to 4 months, and just more of a detailed communication between the employees, the management, and the ownership. I ask, I understand, and I care enough to do something about it. The employee's goals and making sure that the employee understands the company's goals. Setting goals and achieving the goals is equally as important on both sides of the fence. If an employee's goal is to become the next hot rod builder, or the next what was that the Orange County Choppers guys, whatever their goals are, we can help them succeed. If they want to be a master mechanic, they want to be whatever they want to be, we can help them get there.
And have a mission statement up on the wall that everybody can plainly see.
Mm-hmm.
That's currently a work in progress. We've been painting, we've been cleaning and painting walls, and there's a specified place for that vision to go up as soon as that wall got painted, by the way, today, Valerie.
Thank you. I've been on that for a long time.
And this is really an open forum. So those of you that have questions or want to give your input, please feel free to raise your hand, chime in. Any points that we can all encourage each other is the reason why we're here.
Yeah.
And make those goals very achievable. Don't do a goal that your tech could never achieve, or your service writer, or you. Make those goals very achievable.
Yeah, it's short term, because a lot of small wins equal a big win too.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
You got to reward those small wins because it equals a bigger win at the end. Because there's, like you said, there's small steps to get to where you want to be. And even what we do too is what I did with a technician and a service advisor. We actually had a book club where we read a book, and not only did it make them a better person at work, but it actually helped them outside of work too.
Well, and even like the little things, the little things. I mean, I know from being an employer, and don't think this reflects on any of my employers, because both employers I've had in the automotive industry have been awesome. You're welcome, Mark. But just acknowledging whatever the heck your employee is passionate about. I know both of because I have one technician and one apprentice technician right now, and I know what both of them are passionate about. And I know what I can talk to them on a level-headed basis each day. just having that connection with your employee, and this is not to like, don't teeter. You don't want to become their friends, but you want to understand where they come from and what their drive is. I know what both of my technicians' drive is. And I each day ask them, hey, what did you do to do that today? Regardless of the heck of a day that we've had or the super slow day that we've had, it's just showing an interest. And that gets them to love your company even more. Like I will say, me coming to Mark's, being the person that I am, and Mark running the company that he ran, whether I saw that it was wrong, right, or indifferent, Mark had exactly the same views and the same goals that I had for each of my customers that walked in the door. I am a customer service rep. I'm a customer service advocate. That's what I'm all about. I'm not about the cars. I'm not about whatever the heck is going on in their life. I'm about taking care of them. And even though Mark being a tech, that's how he was too. So being a part of something that your company as a whole is representing is huge for an employee, because regardless of the bad days, the good days, because I'm sorry, each owner has some shit to say at the end of the day when it's been a bad day. When you have someone who is with you 100% and backs you 100% and represents you as a person, it's huge. And that's what I've learned just being an employee and now being a business owner, is just respecting what my employees have. Whether I agree with it or not, it's just respecting what their drive is.
Hey, Mark, I have a question for you. We're both old dogs. We've been around forever. How hard was it for you to give up the command and control, and with all of the new insights and the energy that young Colleen has, it seems like it would be quite a conflict.
Please tell them about the thing that you kept in your pocket, please.
Oh,
Just
no.
please.
Well, I have nervous energy, and well, it's like a pin. I do this all day because I'm nervous. And they actually had to fire me. They fired me. Actually, that's what happened. You fired me, right?
Yeah, because I could. So funny that he asked this. I couldn't handle him. And again, the reason why I speak is because Mark is just not good at speaking. So Mark actually kept it's a little piece of paper. It's about this big. He kept a piece of paper every single day for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
In his pocket.
I still have it.
In his pocket that tells him how to deal with millennials. So Mark was all in. He was all in for me being behind the counter. But at the end of the day, his old school ways fought him, because realistically, every time I wanted to go right, Mark wanted to go left. And this is his business. Why is Colleen going right? I'm going to strangle her. And then he would pull out his little piece of paper that reminded him that millennials are very different than his generation and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, but the rut is so comfortable.
No, Mark lived there for a very long time, Glenn. He did.
Glenn, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had a dirt shop, I have about 30-foot hole in the ground from me pacing.
I know what you're talking about. All you can see is the top of my hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I actually had to tell him, God, I don't know, probably 80 million times. Mark, you're driving me nuts. Stop pacing. Go home, do something, go somewhere else, please. For the love of God, I can see you pacing and you're going to wear a hole in my floor.
So I got one other question. I think the underlying point that we're all getting at is getting buy-in is really important. But now comes the question of, how do we do that? Do we do that weekly? Do we do that bi-weekly, monthly? We've heard meetings really work. I know here in our shop, Johanna and I have to be really prepared Tuesday as to what we're going to talk about on our Wednesday meeting, because when Wednesday comes, the staff knows they're getting lunch. They know where they're going to get it from. Are we prepared for what we have? So I know some of you guys have regular meetings during the week. I'd love to hear from Edward as to what you guys do in your shop, weekly meetings, and then Colleen will come right back to you as to what you guys do for weekly meetings. And anybody else, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or I'd love to hear feedback from the group as to what else they want to hear. Joseph, how are we doing on time? OT, my favorite, overtime.
We got about 5 minutes.
15?
Get the last part.
I got to jump. I got to jump, everybody. I got 8 o'clock. So, like, thank you again for the time.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thank
Bye,
you.
David. Nice talking, seeing you.
Edward, why don't we start with you? What do you guys do weekly meetings? What do you talk about in the weekly meetings, and how do you achieve your goals?
So we do every morning, every single day, morning meeting, morning huddle. First off at 8:30, we have a sales meeting. Our sales staff, we go over our previous day sales, invoice reviews. Our sales staff knows where we stand as far as gross sales for the month, average sales per day. Are we up or down year over year? Vehicle count for the month, same thing, up or down for the year. Our average repair order are on pace. And then at 8:45, we have a meeting with the service technicians, and similar scenario, just a little broader spectrum. But they know how we did the day before as far as production, our average car counts, how many cars are we working on compared to last year, amount of appointments for the coming day, and the detail of the vehicles that are currently scheduled for the day's work. Beyond that, then we go to generally a monthly meeting, which is a much more, I would say, much more broader spectrum as far as where the company's goals, what we want to achieve in the next quarter, the next month, how we're scaling as far as sales and car counts, and we kind of go over with everyone a little bit more step back as far as the detail is concerned.
So the successful shops, the theme is tracking, and more tracking.
Exactly. And every week too, Thomas, myself, and Edward, we have a meeting too, and we go over numbers, we go over, the wins, what we could improve on. So we all go
and then also a big part of that, it's not just number tracking, it's the change initiatives. We talk about small wins. And so we have a focus point this quarter or this month was our closing ratio. And it's always a follow-up conversation or deferred work phone calls. It's always a follow-up. How are we doing with that rollout? How are we going with that initiative? What barriers we're up against this week? Because guess what? 3 weeks go by, you had 3 problem cars and COVID came and you didn't get your PPP loan, whatever it may be. And you forget about all those things that you wanted to do. But the fact that we always have kind of a similar agenda and we always come back to those items that we want to execute on, and you'd be surprised how quickly you get them done at that point.
So you would say your weekly or your regular meetings are the key to keeping that culture upbeat.
Yep.
Keeping the communication open. Definitely keeping the communication open is the important detail there. However, your frequency works for each individual shop. I kind of ran with the daily morning meetings that Thomas and Valerie had already implemented, and the staff responds really well to it. They understand that every morning at 8:30 and at 8:45, this is what we're going to talk about, what we're going to go over, and everybody basically has an open floor, say what they have to say. And we kind of leave it open for, do we need anything? How are we doing on tools, materials, any questions? And we kind of are able to catch any hiccups before they become bigger issues.
Yeah. And then last thing to add on to him, I don't want to go too much on that time, but the biggest thing too is that as an owner, you got to get out of your manager's way. And Edward knows expectations. We talk about it. We have our meeting, but you got to get out of his way with it. And he literally moved my desk outside and he kicked me out too. And he always comes back, what are you doing here? And because guess what? I don't need to watch over him with it. We're going to have a meeting and numbers will show for it. And we're on the same page. So get out of your leadership's way and get out of your own way. That's the biggest thing I would say too.
Thank you. Colleen, what about on your end in Chatsworth?
Are you talking me? Colleen?
No.
Oh.
You're retired. Sit back and relax.
Oh, I am. Plus, you're muted.
Maybe your mic's not working.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. The blue means I'm good to go.
Technology.
I've been controlling my headset from this, so I'm like, does red mean go or no? Anywho, okay, so gosh dang it, I lost my train of thought. Stupid remote.
Weekly meetings.
Okay, weekly meetings. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want to speak?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I like when you speak. Please go, sir.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
All right. So when Mark was in shop, we did have weekly meetings where we shared the numbers with the guys and kind of just like, did the team huddle. And then every once in a while we would do the, hey, let's have an open forum meeting and tell me what irritates you, whatever. Since I've been in shop, I've changed that. Every day we talk. Every day, because at this point in time, our head leader is gone. He's retired, and that's fine. I have a head tech, and I ask him, "Are you good every day?" And because it shows that I care about him, and I want to make sure that he's taken care of. What are your stressors? What do you need help on? What can I help you with? Because there are some things that I can do in shop. I'm not completely impotent, but I cannot change an oil. Please don't ask me to.
She can mop though.
Hey, there's small victories. So I do ask them every day. And even now, I still ask them every day. And even if it's a 5-minute meeting, or if it's a 10-minute meeting, or a 4-hour meeting, we have it every single day. What is the expectation of the day? What are our numbers that we have to meet? Where are we? And I'm really, really blessed with a good crew that really wants to see me succeed. So that's them driving it. And I really think that stems from Mark. It's, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes a day, it stems from Mark with having goals and aspirations and where do you want to see the company go? My guys genuinely want to see
come
me
up.
succeed.
She went to potty.
What?
Hi,
I was
Bruce.
like, no, thank you, not right now. But I appreciate the offer.
Colleen, I want to back up what you're saying there a little bit. On my other day job is running 2 restaurants. Before COVID, we had over 72 employees.
Glenn,
And
no wonder your hair is white. That's a lot of businesses.
yes, I have 3 businesses in 3 different locations and lots of things going on. But getting the different parts of your business in line with each other. And when we first took over the business, people didn't want to talk. People didn't want to communicate because they felt that if they complained or pointed something out, there was going to be retribution. And we instilled a culture within our employees that, whether it's the front of the house, the back of the house, the janitors, whatever they need to do to make their job better so that they can do their job at the peak, they need to bring it out. And so we would have meetings and there was never any criticism about our meeting. It was always about what can we do to make your job better. And then I would ask them what they needed, and we would implement the policies and procedures based on what the employees' input was, so that they bought into the change. And
Right.
it always seems to work. If you're just dictating, they don't listen. You have to get people to buy in, and the only way you get them to buy in is to include their ideas and their thoughts into the policy making decisions.
100%. And I'm not trying to put Mark down, but before I started working there, he didn't have a mission statement. He really
What's
did
that?
a mission statement. Right. But like, okay, you old school guys are like,
right here,
okay.
right here.
I wrote it down for you, Mark. God bless your soul. After you're retired, you remember it. But no, okay. So no. But seriously, old guys, because you go on the value of trust and value, which a lot of customers today don't understand. A mission statement is huge. It's what you stand for. It's what you do every single day. You live, eat, and breathe this mission statement. So when I got into shop, I created our mission statement. Why? Because I took what Mark did. It wasn't me. 100% it wasn't me. I just put it into words. It was what Mark represented as a business. And if you instill your mission statement, which whoever was talking about that earlier, Valerie, or it's your employee, I can't remember his name, I'm so sorry, but seriously, it's huge. Putting your mission statement everywhere, and I put it in every review. I put it in anything that I do. It's big. Why? Because that is what we are. That is what embodies us. Customers, when they walk in your shop, yeah, okay, they get the free stuff, they get the sweet customer service, but they don't understand what embodies you. And that also translates to your employees. So if your employees don't know what your mission statement, which by the way, Mark, since you're gone, my guys can recite them word for word without me telling them. So proud of them. But it's what they embody. You know, when you walk into shop every day, what do you stand for? And if you stand for nothing, your employees stand for nothing. So I try really hard to instill that in my guys, because at the end of the day, our business is about customer service. Yes, we do awesome car repairs and we make sure that your car is done right every single freaking time. And we have policies and procedures. But what do customers look at? They want to make sure their car doesn't come back, and they want to make sure they're taken care of. And my guys know, even today, I left at 4:30 today. My head technician made sure that my customer was 100% taken care of. And I still got a good review from him, even though I wasn't even there. That's how you know you're doing it right.
Yeah, it was Randy from Jasper that came up to the mission that was talking about mission statements. It's so instilled in us that we actually have a coin that we carry in our pockets. It looks like a silver dollar with the mission statement on it. That's how serious Jasper is about it.
Yes, do it.
Okay, there's a pause right now, Tim.
But that is what it is. It's like, if you don't have core values as a business,
It's who we are. It's the culture
Yeah.
of our business.
Yeah.
We greatly appreciate all of the input. These are so many helpful tips. We could see from the chat how many thoughts have gone into this. And every shop owner will tell you, I mean, if you don't move that couch, the first step, the rest goes easy after that. And we look at our mission statement of what we have at ASCCA. Rocky will tell you that very well, to give voice and to elevate. And this is what we're doing tonight. So big shout out. Thank you for calling, and Mark for being here. Thank you, Thomas, Valerie, Edward. We really appreciate all of your input. Glenn, everybody that contributed, this is fantastic. And this is why we're part of ASCCA, so that we can put into it. Because when you put into the pot, it's nice to know that it's there to take out. I think if anybody has any questions in regards to any of the information they heard this evening, please feel free to reach out to any of the shop owners, your board, Chapter 5 board, your state board. Reach out to me. I would love to help you out in any way. I think once you learn that gift of, man, it feels good to help people, whether you're helping customers, your staff, or other shop owners, it's fantastic. We love it. And thank you very much for being here.
Tim.
John, please.
Two things. I heard a lot about your morning meetings. We incorporate, everybody gets asked, you know, what do they need help with to get their cars finished, you know, today? Very important. Do you have all your parts? Is there anything you need? Because that sometimes get lost in translation. If you do not have a culture guide, make one, get one, borrow one, steal one, make it your own. Culture guides are very helpful. We have one. We go over it with our team on a regular basis. And it's not the savior of everything, but it sure helps to get across what you're trying to get across to your people.
Thank you, John. And that's really what we're trying to do is, I think the goal of the people that put forth the effort to be here, we want to pass it forward. So thank you for all the people that put forth the effort to be here. And thank you for the shops that really do help other shops. So at this point, I'd like to bring, if anybody has any questions, otherwise I'd like to turn it back on over to Joseph, who's going to do a raffle. Any questions, thoughts, or comments from the crew?
You know, I used to take it one step further before COVID, and before I always had what we called the Jasper Breakfast Club. And there would be about 10 of us that met first, you know, Monday of every month in Glendora, and talks amongst ourselves how to get, you know, ideas for business and what to do. And it's never a bad idea if, you know, I did it, but I don't know if who's ever proactive out there that can do something like that. But it was actually, we did it for 10 years straight every month. until we figure we already knew everything, then we stopped.
Well, Randy, we do the same thing. I ask my guys because you have gearheads out there. So my guys, I ask them all the time, what do you think is going to be beneficial to getting more work in here? And every single idea that they have, whether I personally don't think that it's going to work, I just cater to it. Fine. You think you can get more work in here? By all means. Because, you know, when you don't have work in the shop, your techs hurt too. And when they think that they're being a part of that, 100% a bigger deal. And even though it doesn't work, fine, whatever, blow it out the window. But if you're giving them accreditation to being helpful towards your shop, that's an even bigger step.
Yeah, at least you're trying new ideas, not
Right.
stagnant.
Right.
Wendy had a question. Wendy?
I wanted to ask Glenn what was the name of the restaurant.
Oh, Pinnacle Peak.
Pinnacle
Steakhouse.
Peak.
Okay. Thank you.
And it is the best, I can attest.
And wear a tie.
Yeah, absolutely. Shirt and tie.
Please do. I'll cut it off and nail it to the wall.
Hey, Tim. Hello.
He's gone.
Tim.
I don't know what happened to Tim.
Tim's done. He checked out.
He's pouring a margarita right now.
He's pouring a margarita.
He stepped away for just a minute. Sorry.
Sure, yeah, no problem. Hey, so Colleen.
You got the better
Colleen?
half, though.
Yes.
Just ask Joanna.
He sat down too long yesterday. Joseph, would you
guys on a
ready?
Yes,
Hello?
Rocky. I'm here. I'm listening.
Colleen, okay, so thank you guys. I really appreciate your patience for me to say something to Colleen. I think that
Oh, I'm scared.
I think that you're a focused individual. I praise you for what you're doing, and also it shows that when you're focused and you have no ego in it, you're going to be successful, and you are going to be successful. You've done a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Mark is lucky to have you purchase his business from him, and everything has just turned out good, and I'm really, really glad for you. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I don't mean to like boost this, but I did put out a podcast with Carm, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm really not a confident person. At the end of the day, I got into this industry not knowing a gosh dang thing, and I have winged it, and I've made it work, and I've made my personal skills work to this point, and it's really, really helped me. But I am absolutely no better than anyone on this panel.
Yeah.
I am very much exactly like every single one of you guys.
Okay.
So, you know, you guys do a much better job than I do. I will be the first person to admit. So I even just appreciate being on this panel and with you guys.
There is a shop in San Diego where the sign says attitude is everything. So
I'm in trouble.
You chose yeah, well, so am I. You chose the attitude to excel yourself, and that is fantastic. Kudos.
You hire for attitude and train for aptitude.
Okay, you guys, you can keep going. We got to stop it for a minute anyway.
Why is that?
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna do our raffle, and then if you want to stay and hang around and keep talking, I'm happy to keep this open for a while. But we want to give people that are ready to step aside. We want to give them an opportunity to win in the raffle, and so you have to be here to win.
Joseph, while you're doing that, let me quickly say that every shop owner here is part of an elite group of shop owners, and I would challenge all of you to find one of those shops in your neighborhood and who isn't necessarily on the same scale as the rest of us are, and invite them to one of these meetings, invite them to a chapter meeting or a Zoom meeting, because ASCCA since 1941 has been an organization that is built on shop owners helping shop owners. And we are not an association of elite shops. We are an association that builds elite shops, and all of us started somewhere. So I would challenge all of you to find one of those small hole in the wall shop owners in your neighborhood and invite them to one of these meetings, and maybe we can create the next elite shop.
That's Rory's challenge, right, Rory? Tell us about it.
If you guys don't remember when Rory was president of Chapter 14, I used to have to carry his baggage to the airport for him and take it back to his car when he came back from the airport. So I was very much his manslave during those days.
So what's wrong about that again? I forgot. Well, Joseph wants to do the drawing first. Let Joseph do the drawing.
I just want to give people that want to leave the opportunity to leave without feeling badly about it, because I do want to say, you mentioned that, Glenn, we are going to have a brainstorming session in Chapter 5 about membership. So 2 weeks from tonight, and I'll send out an email for it, but 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have a Zoom meeting that anyone who has a passion for getting new members, we can get together and brainstorm. It's not inviting you to be on a committee. It's not any kind of long-term commitment. What it is it's time to get our heads together, just like you've been talking about the importance of meetings and sharing, passion and when we put our brains together, we all know more than any one of us do. So we need the help of all the members to get more members. I'll send out an email about that. But right now, let's have our shop drawing. And this is only for Chapter 5 members. Sorry, we have a lot of guests. I'm really glad you're here. We're going to draw 4 numbers, and the prize is either $100 off of your chapter dues. Now, some of you have already paid your year in advance. So the second prize is, or the second choice is $50 cash. So here we go. We'll get 4 numbers. And we'll see who we get here. All right, first one is Cards All Pro. Gary, you're here, aren't you? All right, do you want $100 off your chapter dues, or do you want a $50 check? And if you, what's that?
Just donate it back. I don't want it.
All right, we'll send it to the scholarship.
All right.
Foundation.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a scholarship winner in 1983.
Oh, congratulations.
ASCCA scholarship winner, first place.
That's right. So what we'll do is we'll send that $50 to the Dick Deloche, the new Dick Deloche fund, scholarship fund.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much, Gary. Okay, next number. It is North Hollywood Auto Repair.
Not there.
Not here tonight. Now, Rick's Automotive out in the valley, also not with us tonight. And the final one is?
No, just keep going till you get to Jasper.
Well, this is Hanson Distributing. Sorry, it's a few numbers away from you. So we have one winner. And what we do, if the first 4, if there's not a winner, we'll just keep going until there's a winner, because we want to make sure that somebody wins. So thank you.
You can just pick me, it's fine.
Generosity. And just because there's 2 of you here from Marks doesn't give you a double chance to win. It's just one shot.
No. That doubles my chances, Joe. Did you miss that? I'll send it to you in an email.
All right. So thank you very much for being here. And I'm serious, if any of you want to hang around and talk, that's part of what we're doing. It's an opportunity to get together. I know when we would meet at Mihari's, before the meeting and after the meeting was some of the most valuable time.
Before you guys leave, I wanted to put something out there for all of you guys to share. I don't know if you guys had any meetings about the COVID with your employees.
Yep.
And what you're doing about it, because we just got a citation for $1,000.
For what?
I don't know. She walked in and my staff was at lunch. So
Okay.
the girl who answers the phones eats on her desk, and she had no mask on. She took a picture immediately.
Yep.
And then she put out a 7-page something from the health department. She asked me if I had gone over that with my employees. I said, well, first, I don't know what that is because I don't know what I'm looking at. And I said, we have a law office. My wife's an attorney. I said, she comes and does all that stuff. I'm sure she went through it. And then she asked me if I'm going to sign a citation. I said, no, I'm not going to. You need to email everything to the law office. And she left. So we had a $500 fine for interfering with a government official, and then $500 fine for not having a mask on.
So, Annie, do you use, I know this is probably whatever, but do you use Dave Fisher?
Yes, I have that's what's going to get me out, because I have gone over it with my guys. I have pictures during the meeting. We have notes, but the 7-page paperwork she showed me is not what I went through. So yes, I didn't go through that, but I had a 55-page documents I went through with my guys. And the paperwork says during lunch or breaks.
Yeah, they do not have to have a mask. It's the same thing as a restaurant employee. So if you are sitting at a table as a restaurant employee, it's the same thing. So I would fight that, because sitting at their desk.
Yeah. So, one other thing she got me on, which she said that there was not a paperwork that said the office has to have 20% less than what it normally should, the capacity. Well, I don't know how many of automotive shops you guys have that has an office that says how many people can be in there. So if you don't have a sign in front of your door that says, I think it's one person per 50 square foot.
I think they're checking your employee handbook and how much you allow to have in your office building. That's what I took from it.
Annie, what county are you in?
Los Angeles.
Same as me.
That explains everything.
Same as me. Our county is freaking stupid.
Yeah.
But I think that
one other thing which I didn't understand, they said that the customers and employees cannot use the same bathroom. Well, in my case, I have 3 bathrooms. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I go to Cheesecake Factory that holds 500 people. They only have 1 bathroom for employees and customers.
Well, I mean, they are very different than we are. They have special regulations. We do not. Welcome to automotive repair.
Yeah, so you guys better post a sign that says you can only have so many people in the office. Oh, another thing is the floor, something on the floor that separates a 6 foot from each person. And I guess make sure that you guys go over it with your employees.
Thank you, Gary.
As like being an open face shop, our rules are different. So COVID rules change every single flipping day. And I'm not downing you, but you have to be up on that just for that reason. And even Dave, Dave is not.
I said to them that we're an automotive shop. I have 20,000 square feet lot. I said, if one of my employees has no mask and is standing in the middle of the 10,000 square foot lot where there's no one around, he can do that.
Well, what I have understood is, okay, so these COVID compliant people that are walking into your shop don't understand automotive. They understand restaurants. They understand everything that's getting hit heavy with COVID. And that's what they're basing everything off of. So for me, because I'm an open face shop, meaning that I have no waiting area, I don't have anything that's confined, they have no rules or regulations for me. They don't know what to do with me. Yeah. And I've had people that have come in and be like, oh, you're not wearing a mask. Okay, so thankfully, my desk, so it sits about here and it overlooks the parking lot. Well, I pop a mask on before, and my guys know as soon as I pop my mask off, you better freaking have yours on or else I'm going to shoot you. So everyone that walks into the shop, we all have masks, and we have different defined bathrooms or not defined bathrooms or whatever is the code now. But it's different for us than it is for a tight-knit shop like you guys are, where you have an office. So I would ask, because it's almost like discrimination. And that's what I've been trying to fight is like, okay, well, what happens if A, B, C, and D happens? You have to make it uniform for every shop. And when you do that, that's when people are like, I don't know what to do, because everyone doesn't know what the heck they're supposed to do right now. So challenging that is big. And that's what I keep doing because I'm not one to keep quiet. If anyone knows me, it's me.
Speaking of challenges, Rory, what was that challenge from today?
Okay, so I have challenged all the board members to bring in a new member by the end of the month. And how can we be preaching to everyone else what to do if we're not doing it ourselves? So we are going to make that happen by the board members doing it themselves. They'll see what the real issues are and we can work on those. But we can't be telling anyone else what to do if we're not willing to do it. The other thing that's really exciting is for the first time, ASCCA has a professional marketing company that we're working with. And maybe that they would be willing, I will find out if they would be willing to join your membership meeting, because I think that they could really glean a lot of light on what they're doing and what they're going to be doing to help us and help the chapters. And it's all about helping the chapters. It all starts with the chapters. I'm totally into the support of the chapters because that's where we all started. That's where everything happens. It's not about the state making the decisions and then telling you guys what to do. It's about you telling us what you need from us. And don't forget that we are open 100% to what you guys need and fulfilling your needs so that you can be prosperous and successful as a chapter. And I mean, this chapter is the leader really in innovation. So that's one reason I'm on tonight, is because I don't want to tell you what we're doing. I want to learn from what you're doing, because you guys are doing the right things already. And all we need to do is support you doing what you're already doing and giving you more tools and listening to what you need. So I'm totally open to listening to your ideas and for us helping you with fulfilling what you need to do to be more successful as a chapter.
And I think we did that. Thank you very much. Tonight was really good.
It was excellent. I really enjoyed it, and I know everyone else did. I can tell.
One thing we definitely echo is the mission statement of ASCCA. We give voice and unite. So thank you everybody for being here. I greatly appreciate the participation. For those of you that haven't spoke up, if you have any questions, inputs, experiences, we'd love to hear from you.
Mission statement is do it right and have fun.
Javier, we haven't heard from you. You were a new shop owner. You recently bought a shop. So how is this helpful information reaching home? And how can we, not only at Chapter 5, but on a state level, help you grow your shop, Javier?
Help yourself.
I'm going to escape, guys. Have a good one.
Go.
I got to get
All right,
go
Randy.
do something.
Randy, bye-bye.
Bye, Randy.
See you guys.
The meetings are great, very informative. I'm learning something new every day. You guys just scared me with all the COVID stuff. Yeah, just learning from you guys every time we get together. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining the chapter.
This is the very essence of what we call the ASCCA advantage.
Absolutely.
Ampo, how about you, brother?
Yes, I'm here.
How has being part of ASCCA helped you in your shop, and what further can we help you in growth of your shop or in processes of your shop? Because I know in speaking to you, you've had some challenges with communication with your team as well.
Well, I will run the business like old school kind of. We don't kind of do meetings. We're like 4 or 5 guys. So we just talk each other, but that's about it. But no meetings kind of. It's just it's not a, I would say friendship kind of. I feel kind of like how you say, force them to do something, but I will tell them to do. That's how, I manage my shop. So most of the time they listen, sometimes they don't. So, I mean, we have our ways kind of going through it, but it's just difficult.
Well,
but I hear from you guys, but I'm gonna start doing more meeting, more. I have to force them, I guess, either my way or it's gonna be out the door.
Right.
Highway.
100%. And it's really tough. It's really, really tough. I mean, when I started being that person, I was 19. I was 19 and I had people that were 59, 64, and almost in their 70s. So it's really hard to come in and be like the jerk. But at the end of the day, like if you want a company to work as a whole, you got to make it happen. And you have to get everyone behind it. And I see Valerie like shaking her head because she knows 100% what I'm talking about, because you and I are in the same boat, girl.
Yeah, but going back to piggyback what Colleen said, exactly. I mean, if they're probably not right for your team and you got to cut ties with them. So if they're not going to jump on board with it, then they're not the right people for your
And
business.
it sucks. Ask Mark. Mark lost a employee that had been with him for 16 years because of me. And it hurts and it sucks because you create families, you create bonds, you create friendships with these people, but at the end of the day, you have to realize it's business.
And it takes a big weight off your shoulders once you just rip that Band-Aid off and you cut ties. And you always tell yourself, why didn't I do this sooner? I could have saved myself the headache. I could have saved myself the stress, money, and so many things.
As much as Mark hates to chime in, he can attest to that if you want to.
Well, you're 100% on that. 100%.
Yeah, Hampo.
Yes. My worst thing is, I mean, I started from zero. I started mopping floor and things like that. I've been there as a worker, so I'm an employee. I know how it feels. And when my boss talks to me, I will, listen, and I feel them. That's how I am. It's like it's hard for me to be the boss telling them what to do, because I've been there, done that. So it's kind of hard to take that step, that my way or highway. So
It's
just
not easy. It's not easy.
not easy for me to take that step, but
You just got to rip that Band-Aid off, because
you do.
If you take your time, it's going to hurt so much more than just ripping it off.
Well,
Hey,
okay.
Hampo,
Go, Mark, go.
I was the same way. I started mopping floors, the whole thing from day one. And I felt for my guys, the whole thing, but in Colleen, we did the whole change thing, and you got to do it. You got to do it. You can't feel sorry for them. You got to do the job. They're doing a good job. And if they have a problem, you talk to them. You try to work through their problems. But
I'm
was
doing something
me.
wrong. I'm still mopping floors.
Hey, you know what, Glenn? I am a really, really, really good mopper. Okay, I'm a really good mopper, and I'm a really good parts getter. Okay, now, seriously, Mark seriously started with like mopping floors and doing the dirty work. And Mark is a prime example of someone who has been through the trenches. He has done the time. He has done all of that. And when I got to the shop, I was like, all right, I'm going to make it easier for him. But at the end of the day, like, you have to give your employees some hard time. And I started in this industry at 19. I had people that were 50 or 60 years old that I was like, all right, do A, B, C, and D, when I didn't know what A, B, C, and D was. But you are running a business at the end of the day. Everyone who makes money makes money. You make money, they make money. So if you want everyone to prosper and be happy as a true business owner looking out for your employees, be a hard ass. And I don't mean walk into shop and be a dick. Okay, I don't want you to go in and be like, all right, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. No, ease them into it. It's hard and it's a challenge. But if you have someone like Mark, who has had an employee for 16 to 17 years, they don't know what a challenge is anymore. They have been so complacent with their job for however many years before you got there, to where they're relaxed and they're like, oh, I can come in and collect a paycheck and everything is dandy and life is great. No, we're here to make money. You make money, I make money. Everything's going to be dandy. And it's tough. I'm not going to say that it's easy, because I am the type of person that I am the feel good. I love everyone. I want to like cuddle them and hold them and, you know, just be there for them. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make freaking money. If
Hey,
you want to make money,
thank you. I have a
Go ahead.
comment. I have a comment. So if you're struggling with getting your meetings started, then explain to your people why you're having the meetings and how it's going to benefit them, and see how it goes from there. If you're, you know, if you explain that to them, you know, then you have a good chance of it being successful. Okay, if you're just, we're going to have meetings and you know, a lot of people don't get the importance of meetings. You got to explain to them, hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to have meetings, and this is what's going to come of it. It's going to make sure you have your parts so you can get your cars done. You know, whatever it is, explain the importance of what it is, and then make sure you include everybody in your meetings. Let everybody have a say. You know, when you're, if somebody hasn't spoken up at the end of the meeting, you know, you say, hey, Rory, you know, you have anything to interject here, good, bad, or indifferent? You ask everybody, get their opinion. And it might be 2, 3, 4 weeks before they start participating. But once they see that positive things are coming from it, you will get better participation out of it.
a lot of employees don't understand the part of being a part of a company. I mean, I have come from a background of BS, where we don't understand what being a part of a company is. And what John said is 100% accurate. If you don't know how to be a part of something, you don't know where to start.
I have a question, and then I have something to say. My question is to Thomas and Valerie. How many technicians do you guys have?
We have 6 technicians.
And how many service riders?
2.
We have one rider full-time, one apprentice rider.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
guys have a meeting every single day?
Yes. So what we do
Correct.
is we open at 9 a.m.
What time do you open?
We open at 9 a.m.
Oh, 9 a.m.
Yeah. Our service advisors know that they have, and I mean, Edward's done a great job at implementing it, that they have to be there by 8:30. Now, 8:30 means you're not parking your car, you're not clocking in, you are ready to go, because at 8:30 they know, and it's like clockwork, they know that that's their time with Eddie to go over the prior day. And then 8:45, they know that they have to be with the whole shop. And technicians too, they know 8:45, they better be ready to go. 8:45 doesn't mean clocking in, changing into your uniform. It means you're ready to go. You're either sweeping or you're doing something, but it's just constantly reminding them, where it gets to the point where they just don't want to hear it. And you nip it in the butt right away. I mean, there are times where before Eddie came on board, we would still have these morning, we call them morning huddles, but if someone was late, we take them in the office and let them know, you know, this is not fair to, it's not fair to your team members who make it a mission to get here on time. So
yeah, we said that time is sacred for us, and don't mess with my time on that. Because if you don't do that correctly, the rest of the day is really effed up. So we have to have that done.
And it shows how important it is to you. So if they see how important it is to you, then they're going to know it's really important.
I mean, in my case, I have our meetings once a week, but we're supposed to take about half an hour because I do it every Friday after lunch, and it goes on for 45 minutes to an hour. So I can't imagine how you guys do it every day. I just, I mean, I would love to do it. There's no way I can.
If you feel free to call us out, I'll tell you offline how to do it. But it's us telling them.
One of the things that I constantly do, which I think has been working for me really well, I wanted to share this with you guys. First of all, I always make it about them. I create a situation where, you know, I ask them what their plan is, what their goals are, and I constantly concentrate on how they can make more money, they can buy the house that they want. And I always ask them, what can we do to change for you to have a happier week, or more money, or a better house, or better ski boat, or a motorcycle, whatever it is. So every single thing I start, I make it about them. And then they kind of start telling us certain things that they want to do. And then I capitalize on that.
Gary,
That's what I do.
maybe I think with the daily meetings, I think what it is what do you need to get this job done? How can I support you with this task? Because I mean, it's like those are your overall goals, but a quicker, shorter, like that morning meeting, like I don't know who wouldn't just want to come over, like, all right, guys, let's get everybody over here. How are you doing on this? What's the delay? Can I get you, is there a tool you're missing? Is there some diagnostic advice we need to do and help you with? Are you good? You good? Okay, this job's gonna be done today. And then it's kind of like a powwow. And then you offer, how can I help you with this job? And it's kind of still about them, but it baseline is your customer and keeping your customer, with the pickup on time, with their expectations met. And then, the pat on the back, good job, we got it out on time, or hey, it was a little late, or, like the texts that are late, not just, hey, we need you here. It's like, what do we need to do to help you get here? Do you need me to text you at 6 a.m, get your butt up? I'll do it, because once they get in that habit, they know that you depend on them, and it's a tit for tat. But, and it's not just us that need you here. The customer needs you here, because you put that behind and it puts the rack behind, and then we can't get another car, up on a lift. So when they have an expectation from everybody, they kind of work up to that expectation. What do you expect from me? Well, I expect this from you. And that's kind of, we have a hard time in education with the uniforms and getting them on time. And, they're kind of like, well, I pay to come to school, I can come when I want. And it's kind of really, really hard. And we try really hard to not let them get away with that. But we start them telling them, you're at an F, you have 0 points, you have to earn your grade, we don't give you grades. And they come in, they're like, what? Because they've been told the different in high school. Like, nope, you come in as an F, like you come in, you're at an F. And they're like, what? So that really changes the perspective. And we try to instill that in them, and all of our instructors are like that. But it's hard because these team huddles I've seen really work for a lot of you guys. And I think it's a millennial thing. And Colleen, I think it's kind of what's worked with the newer generation.
Yeah, and it's communicating.
Because back in the day, it was like, this is what I expect, and this is what is going to be done. And it was like, that's how I grew up in a shop.
Oh, yeah. And two, this is what I expect, but what are we going to do to get there? And two, your standard operating procedures are so important. So once you have that down and everyone knows what they have to do, everyone knows how they have to implement it, it will help your meetings too be a lot shorter, because you're seeing your half-an-hour meetings turn into 45-minute meetings. Do you have any standard operating procedures? Like, do you guys have anything in place? Like when a guest comes in, like what are the procedures, Ani?
I'm Gary, that's my wife.
Sorry.
We do have the procedures. My guys have been with me for 20, 25 years. We're always struggling with that. It's work in progress.
Yeah.
We're constantly having issues with that. One of my biggest problem is, which again, I've spoken with some of the members online here. My staff takes way too many cars daily. That's the biggest problem we have. We have 2 parking lots. Cars are being towed in from AAA unexpectedly. Customers dropping off, just people are coming, it's a chaos. And once we get it organized, we're so happy that things are flowing properly. We just don't want to stop everybody and have a meeting because everything's going so well.
But sometimes
yes,
like that 30-second meeting makes a hour.
Yeah.
Like Tim earlier went over that.
So sometimes in the morning, even though it sucks, it's taking the time to set your crew up for what they're doing that day.
Setting them up for success. That's what I always say. And two, when you have the procedures, is it
My
everyone
remote
knows,
is
is your
not working.
your service advisors, are they on the same page with your technicians? Because we're different in that way where everyone is together. There's no front, there's no back, everyone's together. So everyone knows what everyone's doing, everyone's on the same page. And Thomas and I have found that that has helped tremendously.
Can you explain that a little bit more when you said we're everybody's together?
Well, we run it where everyone's a team. So the service advisor knows they know the SOPs of the technician knows the SOPs of the service advisor. So for example, when we hire a technician, part of their training is they actually have to watch what the service advisor does for a couple hours. And it actually helps them see what the service advisor goes through, because sometimes technicians think, oh, all they do is they just write a ticket and play on their phone. They don't know that they're answering phones. They don't know that they're talking to the guest in front of them. They don't know that they're writing an estimate. So they see all that and they get respect, and it builds that camaraderie. It builds that respect. So they help each other out.
Valerie, I love you right now. I lost internet connection and I heard the whole like service advisor respect.
Yeah.
That is 100%. I literally have a plaque on my desk that says, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Because, okay,
yeah,
bare minimum basic, technicians think that you do absolutely nothing but stare at a computer screen.
What?
Yeah, they get so surprised.
Do your work, dude.
It's so great because they talk to our service advisor and they're like, wow, you do all this. And then our service advisor turns and says, oh, and it's not even a busy day. And they're just amazed. So, and they're going to go out of their way to help out the service advisor and vice versa. When we go over our SOPs, we go over it with everyone. So we have, again, the monthly meetings, we have it with everyone. So everyone knows everyone's standing procedure. So it's not just technicians and service advisors, it's everyone together. I don't know if that makes sense.
Can I share something with you guys? I actually learned this in a training class with Jeremy O'Neill. Joseph, do you mind bringing up the timeline? And when I first saw this, I thought it was fantastic. We actually implemented it in my shop, and we've structured our Mitchell system as these 10 key points. I don't know if Joseph can bring that up or if we're working on that. This has been a real game changer in my shop, and it actually goes in line with everything that everybody has been saying. Whose responsibility is it? How do I pass the baton? And what's the end goal?
I missed the last part.
I'll get it there in a second.
No worries.
Responsibilities and how to pass the baton.
Yeah. This was a point that Jeremy O'Neill had taught in one of his classes, and I loved it so much. We actually took step one and wrote a little process. Who's qualified to make that appointment? What does the customer need to know? Who's qualified to take in number two? What do they need to know? Who's qualified to inspect and diagnose the car? What do they need to know? Who's qualified to inspect and build the estimate based upon the digital information? Who's qualified to present and sell the job? Who can order the parts? How does the technician know that the parts are here? The repair point is on, number 7, so that we can actually start the car, prepare the car in an efficient timeline. And by golly, number 8, don't call the customer if you just about to slap the bolt in. Drive the car 6 miles, 10 miles, verify you solved the problem, verify the tech said, oh yeah, it ain't coming back. And then you can call at number 9 and say, hey, the car's done, washed, we verified the repair, you can come pick it up. I don't mind sharing this. I can email it to you if you'd like. It wasn't my idea. I'd love to take credit for it. R&D, rip off and duplicate, but I got to give credit to Jeremy O'Neill. He does a really good job with laying down timelines. Gary, you've seen this in my shop and you've seen how we've implemented it. And I'm not saying it's a perfect idea, but it works. And that's the point of this exercise. Find something that works, make it real, make it happen, make them believe it, and you will have a lot more time to do the important things in your business that happen. And I wouldn't have believed that Tim is actually saying these things, but with the help of accountability partners, with the help of ASCCA, and you guys, shop owners, Glenn, Gene, with the help of Joseph corralling everybody back together. Gary, I've learned so many great points from you. Thomas, I got goosebumps every time I get off the phone with you. So thank you very much. This has been a fantastic evening we've had. And I can't thank you guys enough for your participation. Really, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Retired Mark. Lucky him.
Sounds like that's a wrap then. Thank you all
All
for
right.
coming. Yes. And welcome to Dennis Giardina. He showed up real late, finished another meeting, wanted to pop in from SC Fuel. Thank you for being here, Dennis.
One last thing, Humpo.
Yes.
Back in 1984, I went to my first ASCCA meeting, and I sat at a table with 10 very influential people from Chapter 5 and realized that that is where I wanted to take my business. I would suggest to you, since you're starting from scratch and you're kind of doing this out of the seat of your pants, is get a hold of some of these members in Chapter 5 that have been around and confide in them, and don't ever think that there are questions that are too stupid to ask, because you never become a professional, you never move up the ladder without doing that. Because if you have to learn from the school of hard knocks, the tuition is incredibly high.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Congratulations and good
Super
luck.
high.
And I also want to thank our associate vendors that are here. I know Joel Perez from BG. I've learned so much from BG. If you guys haven't been to the website,
If you've ever met Joel, please like get in on that. Joel. Okay, so Tim is the prime example of Joel and his BG nonsense. But Joel is grade A. This
We need to
guy
get
can
Joel
sell
to
you
join.
anything under the table, anything, whatever you want. He is grade A.
Yeah, it sounds like Joel needs to
Thank you.
join the chapter.
Yes, sure do. I appreciate that. And we always say it's cheaper to maintain than to repair. And Tim does a great job on explaining our products and services, our protection plan to all his customers, and so does Colleen and stuff. So it's a pleasure working with everybody.
Yeah, Joel, I guess you're already a
Just
member
have to
since
ask.
BG is a member. So you want me to add you to our mailing list so you get everything?
What was that? I
Since
lost service or
BG is a
something.
chapter member, BG is a chapter member. Abe shows up every now and then, but you want me to add you to our mailing list so you stay in tune with everything?
Yeah, I would love to.
All right. Will do.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Here.
You guys.
Bye, Mark. Take care.
Right. Bye-bye, Joel.
Thank you.
Bye. See you soon.
Thanks,
Hey,
Thomas.
Colleen.
Thanks, Valerie.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Rory.
you.
Are you gonna let Mark join as a tech? or does he get like a retirement package, like to just be a honorary
what we'll
member?
probably do is see if he wants to become an honorary lifetime member.
Yeah, I was like, what? No.
We have a few of those.
I
You
can't hear
muted
you.
again, Colleen. You pushed the wrong button.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I said no, Wendy. Hard no. No, Mark is he's a gem. So you want to have him be a part as much as possible, but at the end of the day, shop owners, it's not their forte to chat. And that's me. So he is I think this is his last ASCCA meeting.
I don't know. He
No, he gets honorary membership.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he told me, he was like, "You're gonna talk, right? You're gonna say everything, right?"
But see, he's still got a lot of wisdom that other shop members can benefit from as well.
He does. He's a gem. He really is.
Yeah. All right. Good
I'll
night.
just have to mail him his favorite beer.
I don't know what it is, Wendy. So if you can
I'm
figure
about to
it out,
press
please
the
let me
end
know.
button.
Okay.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Joseph. Have
Good
a
night,
good
Bye, guys.
Javier.
Bye.